Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I would like to convene our regular City Council meeting today at 6 p.m. Mr. City Clerk, can you please conduct roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez. Councilmember Jimenez.
Yes.
Councilmember Tamayo.
Here.
Councilmember Torres.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
Here.
Mayor Peralta.
And I am present. Mr. City Attorney, can you please read all closed session items as well as a statement of oral communications before receiving public comments on closed session?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Council on the 4 items that are listed on for closed session would be required to fill out a card and turn it into the City Clerk's office, City Clerk's station at this time. Do we have any requests for closed session items?
Yes, we have one speaker card.
Okay, let's proceed with that one speaker card.
All right, can we have Will Severa for closed session items?
Will Severa, resident of 40 years. I've come up here several times talking about the existing litigation that we've had with employees, and we need to do better as a community so we can stop spending so much money. Currently, we spend so much money on litigation that it's affecting the community, it's affecting the relations with the departments, because how are you going to be able to get qualified workers if we're going to continually be harassing employees or not being able to set them out? Under California City, since we are a general city, the council has a fiduciary duty as well as the city attorney. Now, in multiple of these cases, I've paid for and gone through, and we've been cited by a court to put Navarro back to work. And we've also had cases nationally that have been overturned for firing for COVID, which would be for Chavez, Officer Chavez, that's fired. And now you also have Officer Carrera on here. These cases have been going on for about 2 years. His legal fees don't stop. He has billable hours, which we pay for out of our general fund. Back in the day, before 2018, if we hired another attorney, the bill went to the city. Now it goes to this man, and he cuts the bill. That's wrong. We need to have a better expenditure of our time, of our money, and where it's going and how much each case is costing us. When you have a judge demanding that an employee be brought back to work, that's pretty serious. And we had 10 of those orders. And if you guys like, we can send them to you guys, because I know you guys aren't getting the full story. Or if you are, you're allowing your legal counsel to take charge. You guys are voted in. You just won your elections. Half the community didn't like you. Yours is loved. You came in close for you. But we still need to move forward and work together as a community. And think about this. Every employee you fire, how does that look for another person to get hired? They look at our reputation. We need to change that. Yes, I'm not saying that we have all good employees, but that's why you need to documentate. You need to have a written conversation. You need to have with the union representatives just to have it all legal, and we could avoid a lot of these issues. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Cervera, and that concludes our public comments for closed session items. We will go ahead and recess into closed session at 6:04.
And if I may, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
a couple of things.
Reading.
If I can announce the 4 items, 1, 2, 3 are all workers' compensation matters. The 4th item, I think it's important to note that this lawsuit stems from action and an administration back in 2021, so that it has nothing to do with the current administration. Also, it should be noted that the attorney that was handling that case was handpicked by the previous city manager, and my office did not earn penny one on defending the city on this case. It was assigned to outside legal counsel. We are now going to discuss with the city possible resolution, but again, these were actions that were taken by previous administrations, previous police chiefs, previous directors of human resources, and we will discuss that in closed session.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and recess into closed session at 6:04, and we appreciate everyone's patience. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are reconvening from our closed session at 7:02 p.m. Mr. City Attorney, can you please provide a report on these closed session items that were discussed?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. The record should reflect that the City Council, with all 5 members being present in closed session, discussed the items listed as items 1 through 4. On those items, the City Council received briefing from various special counsel, and on item 4, the City Attorney regarding these matters. On all 4 items, the City Council provided direction to legal counsel on possible resolution and closure of these cases, but there is no final action taken this evening and nothing required to be reported further tonight. With that, Madam Mayor, it's appropriate to move on to the open portion of the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for our invocation. If we can please have our city clerk and our pledge of allegiance, if we can please have our city treasurer. So we'll go ahead and start with our invocation.
As we gather here today, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community. Keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world and a better community. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Ready? Begin.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving forward to corrections to the agenda, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, council members, we have a few corrections to the agenda today. Item number 9, we'll have an additional presentation by the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. Number 2, staff is recommending that item number 10 be pulled from today's agenda. Number 3, item number 18 has a typo. The agreement with Verde Facility Services is to provide citywide custodial services, not generator maintenance and repair services. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. That takes us to our ceremonial items and presentations. We do have Citizen of the Month, and so if I please may ask my colleagues to join me up front. Thank you. Okay, today we are honored to recognize Elizabeth Flores Baez. If I can please have her join us up front. If we can please give her a big round of applause. Her journey intertwines with the fabric of our community. Liz has been a member of our Montebello community since 1979, and she graduated from Montebello High School in 1981. She raised her 3 sons who graduated from Schur High School in Montebello, and today she's a proud grandmother of 4. Liz has always sought to help, uplift, and serve those in our community. She volunteered for her high school teaching aerobics and nutrition. Later, when she worked at the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation as a child care director, she volunteered to direct children's ballet folklorico and coordinated senior mariachi performances. In her current role with the Department of Public Services, Liz has served an impressive 33 years, where she has worked in roles ranging from early Head Start teacher to eligibility worker. Liz's commitment to the community is evident in her contributions to our youth, especially in founding the Montebello American Youth Soccer Organization number 1065 in 1995. One of her proudest achievements with AYSO is creating the VIP, Very Important Players program, a special initiative designed to include children and adults with physical or other challenges in the joy of soccer. She has since helped spread this program to neighboring cities, continuing to enrich lives and create inclusive spaces for everyone. Her passion has brought her back to AYSO as a volunteer, showing her unwavering dedication to the organization that she helped establish here in the city of Montebello. Among her many Seroptimus-led projects, she has spearheaded the Live Your Dream Scholarship Program, Thanksgiving Basket Giveaway, Christmas fundraising calendar, and Adopt a Family initiative with the Department of Public Social Services. Across numerous Montebello events, Liz has led in giving a helping hand, from our National Night Out to the Montebello Christmas Toy Drive. During COVID, Liz passed out food to families, exemplifying her support for her community through every challenge. Liz, you have brought countless smiles to the people of Montebello. Your dedication has enriched our community, and we are deeply grateful for all that you do. We honor you for your achievements and your kindness that you bring here to our city, and we thank you for your unwavering commitment to Montebello. Everyone, please join me in congratulating and recognizing Elizabeth Flores Baez as our November 2024 Citizen of the Month.
It's humbling to receive this honor. Madam Mayor, thank you so much. And I wouldn't be able to do it without the support of my sons that helped me run AYSO. And now we're back with my grandson, Jacob, and Seroptimus, with my sister, Seroptimus. Hello, sisters. And Jacob now helps me in the community with Seroptimus. He's always, what are we doing? Are we going to go help the homeless? Baskets are we going to pass out? And we wouldn't be able to, Seroptimus is all about empowering women and young ladies. So we are starting with selling our calendars, and we look for your support. Never pass up an opportunity, okay? So please, we have calendars to sell. Every single penny goes to supporting our community. December 7th, AYSO has their closing ceremonies. Please, if you have a chance, City Council, we look forward to seeing you there. Support AYSO. Both foundations have my heart and my soul. And I saw David Sosnowski grow up. He used to help us paint the fields, and now I've seen him get married, have kids, and he's running a department. So it's dear to my heart. Remember, it's not about living, we only live once. We live every single day that we make it count. We die once. That's it. Empower each other, help us empower the women and the girls in our community, because they're the future. And we are who we are because all of us put each other our crowns and keep them straight. Thank you so much for this honor, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everybody's shy now. Okay, thank you to Elizabeth, her family, and our community for supporting her and all the wonderful work that she does here in the city of Montebello. Moving forward, we do just have a couple proclamations to announce. Specifically, November is a month where we are reminded of serious challenges that men face when it comes to health. So we are recognizing November as Movember. That's why November is being recognized through this really important initiative. Throughout this month, men are encouraged to grow a mustache or to commit to move as a way to raise awareness about prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. Studies show that staying active can reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cancer by up to 50% and lower your risk of early Today, we reaffirm our commitment to supporting research, increasing awareness of men's health, and encouraging movement for the month of Movember. The City of Montebello proudly joins communities across the nation, challenging men to grow a mustache and encouraging everyone to get active in support of men's health. I urge all members of our community to join in recognizing this cause and joining the movement to change the face of men's health. Moving forward, we do have a proclamation for Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. This month of November brings awareness to a nationwide public health disease that deeply affects the older aging population. With Alzheimer's disease, which is a devastating brain disorder that takes away a person's memories, affects their cognitive abilities, and in some cases, their behavior. It's a disease that leads to progressive mental and physical challenges resulting in dementia and has grown in recent years, impacting nearly 7 million Americans and more than 55 million worldwide. Today, we honor the families and caregivers who stand by their loved ones, helping them age with dignity, and we reaffirm our commitment to advancing scientific research and improving treatment options to bring hope for a brighter future. And lastly, we do have a proclamation for Small Business Saturday. I'm extremely excited to share exciting news about our latest initiative here in the city of Montebello to support local businesses. We recently launched a pilot program called Shop Local, Shop Montebello, which encourages residents to support our community's wonderful shops, restaurants, and services. Through this campaign, we are producing short videos that showcases the unique charm and exceptional offerings of our local businesses. In each video, viewers meet the business owners and learn what makes their products and services exceptional. If you go on our city's website or our city's social media, you will find these videos. There have been some really nice ones that have been made, that have been published. We have Angry Horse as well as Montebello bikes that have been featured. Your participation in this campaign not only supports our local businesses, but also strengthens the connections between Montebello residents and our small business community. This campaign reminds us of the power of our community and the importance of supporting our small businesses here. And I do just want to thank all those small businesses that continue to invest here in the city of Montebello for making this their second home. And that moves us to now the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments presentation. And this will be a presentation conducted by Management Analyst Esmeralda Izguera. And the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good evening, Montebello City Council. My name is Esmeralda. Good evening, Montebello City Council. My name is Esmeralda Izguera. I'm a management analyst at the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. I'm actually the management analyst assigned to the Montebello Boulevard Great Separation Project, so I'm really glad to be back here. Thank you for letting me join you today. I'm here to share with you all an update of our work in 2024 and the work we have planned this fiscal year 24-25. Sorry, the clicker isn't working. Thank you. First, I'd like to briefly acknowledge our leadership at the COG. Tim Petfern, Mayor of Laverne, serves as our president. Ed Reese, council member at the City of Claremont, is our first vice president. April Verlado, Mayor of Arcadia, is our second vice president. And Corey Moss, Mayor of the City of Industry, is our third vice president. Moving on, I would like to highlight some of our programs and initiatives we have at the COG. Starting with our sustainability and environmental programs, it is a huge goal of ours to ensure that our residents have a safe and clean environment. And one program of this initiative, along with the others listed on the screen, is our food recovery programs called Fresh SGV. This program has the objective to optimize the recovery of surplus edible food in the San Gabriel Valley in order to decrease food waste and, in turn, address food insecurity. One way this is done is through providing funding to sub-regional food recovery hubs, where at these hubs, they collect surplus food from grocery stores or restaurants and distribute them to various food banks, food pantries, or even directly to the community. I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but one of the hubs is located here in Montebello. Next, I'm going to talk a bit about mobility. At the COG, as the slide says, we are intent on moving our region forward. Listed here are a number of our transportation projects, but I'm going to focus on our Alameda Corridor East project, or ACE project. Since we recently closed down Montebello Boulevard for this initiative, I felt it was fitting to discuss. The ACE project is a nationally and regionally significant project intended to mitigate vehicle delays and collisions at rail roadway crossings. With an increase in freight rail traffic, it is important now more than ever for the safety of our communities to create grade separations, whether that be underpasses or overpasses, or at grade improvements at these rail roadway crossings. Another set of programs we have at the COG is working to address homelessness and housing. It is essential for us that everyone in SGV has a place to call home. I like to highlight our tiny home bridge housing sites. This housing initiative allows individuals who are unhoused and in need of services and support to stabilize with a roof over their head. Operation Stay Safe, the tiny home site here in Montebello, was developed with funding from the San Gabriel Valley Regional Housing Trust and is a resource for the Montebello Community Assistance Program. The COG manages the county funding contract and site operations contract with the service provider LA CADA, who provides 24/7 staffing, case management, and 3 daily meals for the clients. I've personally been to the Operation Stay Safe here in the city of Montebello, and it is honestly so great to see the healing and opportunities that this site provides. And our last group of programs listed here is Neighbors in Need. These are programs that focus on helping our most vulnerable neighbors and residents. One I want to talk about is Village 143. Through targeted donation drives through the SGV, this program supports people experiencing homelessness by providing essential items. The goal being to help individuals reach their basic needs. SGV COG will host a new donation drive each quarter to help our neighbors in need. Next, I want to touch on our accomplishments in the past fiscal year. We are very proud to have broken ground on not one, but 2 grade separations. As you know, the Montebello project and also our Turnbull project broke ground this year. We also opened 3 sub-regional food recovery hubs, which I had mentioned previously, that will help distribute good unused food where it's most needed. And through some of our city homelessness programs, we were also able to reach 1,900 vulnerable residents through LA CADA, and in turn, able to connect 88 clients with housing. And lastly, through our SGV Regional Housing Trust, our revolving loan fund supported the construction of 242 units of affordable housing and created 16 affordable home ownership opportunities. Overall, we are super proud of all this work. Now, getting into specifically the city of Montebello, I want to thank the city for being such a wonderful partner in all of the programs and projects that we have here at the COG. As I've described, your city is truly making a difference through the different sets of programs. Starting with the Montebello Grade Separation Project and the at-grade improvements at Vale, Greenwood, and Maple Avenue, SGV COG has secured grant and loan funding to fund the project in its entirety. This represents a $220 million investment in the city and its residents. Pictured here is the open house we had here in Montebello for the project. We are incredibly excited that this project has started construction and the ball is rolling to improve safety and mitigate delays in the city. I also want to mention that the city received a total loan of $1.7 million through the San Gabriel Valley Regional Housing Trust for Vista de J.J. Rodriguez, which is a 63-unit supportive housing development for low-income families and survivors of domestic violence experiencing homelessness. The SGV Regional Housing Trust leveraged a one-to-one matching award through the State Local Housing Trust Fund in order to fund this project and provide residents with not just housing, but a variety of community amenities. And finally, through the Heart of Compassion Food Bank, which is one of the 3 regional food recovery hubs, we've been able to provide the city with around $96,000 of support for food recovery and distribution operations. This money was used to support staff at HOC for their operations as well as necessary equipment. I want to highlight once more the Montebello Grade Separation Project and the At-Grade Safety Improvements Project. The Grade Separation Project, as you may know, is the construction of a roadway underpass on Montebello Boulevard with 2 bridges, one being a railroad bridge and the other a roadway bridge at Olympic Boulevard. The at-grades will make necessary upgrades to the railroad crossings at Greenwood, Vale, and Maple Avenue. Both projects will improve mobility, increase safety, and improve air quality by reducing vehicle emissions, and also foster economic vitality. Moreover, the projects are fully funded with both local and state funding, which, as mentioned, totals $220 million. And as you see by the construction on Montebello Boulevard, the Grade Separation Project has commenced construction beginning in February of this year, and we are excited to announce that we hope to start construction on the at-grade safety improvements by early next year. Additionally, I also want to emphasize the work being done through the SGV Regional Housing Trust in your city. Affordable housing through Vista de J.J. Rodriguez and interim housing through Operation Stay Safe are both possible here in Montebello because of the Housing Trust and the city's efforts. As mentioned, Vista de J.J. Rodriguez received the funding to support the development of 63 affordable housing units, and Operation Stay Safe has permanently housed 49 clients and counting. Both affordable and interim housing are necessary initiatives, and I am personally glad to see them come into fruition. Looking ahead to fiscal year 24-25, we have a lot planned for the San Gabriel Valley. First, we hope to complete a key regional study, that being the Regional Community Wildfire Protection Plan. We will also begin implementation of the Jumpstart Bus Corridor Improvements Project, which are bus corridor improvements that aim to be completed ahead of the 2028 Olympics and help with mobility at the Olympics. Additionally, we are looking to award $6 million to loan funds to support construction of 120 affordable housing units through the Regional Housing Trust. And finally, we will use regional housing development funds in order to permanently house 76 individuals and support 67 interim housing units in 3 cities. We're ecstatic for what is to come. And just before I close up here, I want to recognize Councilmember Torres from Montebello, who sits on our Capital Projects and Construction Committee. We thank you for your contributions and service to CPCC. And with that, thank you all for your time. I'm happy to take any questions you might have now, but I also have my email on the screen if you want to ask me there.
Yes, thank you so much for such a great presentation and a comprehensive way of all the projects that we have with this partnership and then what we're looking ahead. I'll go ahead and just look down the aisle to see if my colleagues have any questions. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Torres.
It's very nice to see my friends from the COG here in Montebello. Thank you so much for coming down and sharing some of the projects that we've been collaborating on over the last couple years. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for the hard work that you've done, especially when it comes to construction, like we have at J.J. Rodriguez or like we have at the ACE project. They're very dynamic, ever-shifting scenarios where we're responding to residents, to businesses, to updates in nature and economics. And so I just want to let the community know that the COG has been extremely responsive to the needs needs of the city. And so just want to thank you very much for your partnership and looking forward to winning some of that housing money grant too.
Thank you. Good. Okay, and that concludes our comments. Just thank you so much, Esmeralda, for providing us your presentation this evening.
Sorry, if there's no more questions, I'm going to pass it off to Carrie Inseong, Senior Project Manager, to provide an update on the Montebello Corridor project.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Peralta and City Council members for allowing me to piggyback onto Esmeralda's presentation. Just to give you guys a quick update on the construction on the Montebello Boulevard grade separation project. So we just have a couple of pictures to show you on what we've been doing out there. What you see here is an aerial drone shot of the tracks. This is looking eastward, right below the page here would be Montebello Boulevard. So what you see here with the trucks on the right side of the railroad tracks there is we are preparing the subgrade. We're preparing basically the right-of-way to install shoe fly tracks. Shoe fly tracks are the temporary tracks that we will be installing, and the shoe fly tracks are necessary in order for the trains to be able to keep using these tracks while we build the railroad bridge for the next 4 years. So that in order to build the shoe fly tracks, we have to prepare the subgrade. We'll be installing sub-ballast and then railroad ties and tracks. So that's a very big step in the progress of the project. I'm highlighting this because this is an interesting operation for me as an engineer. I'm kind of geeking out on this. This is a jack and bore operation for the installation of a temporary water line. You see the crane down towards the bottom of the screen with orange trench protectors or cages. We are needing to, in this picture, install a temporary water line under the railroad bridge in order to continue to provide water service. And this will in turn allow us to shut off the old water line south of this picture in order to make room for the grade separation. This picture is the first of the 11 retaining walls that will be constructed on this project. This is retaining wall number 7. And in the next half of 2025, you can expect us to start construction of the retaining walls north of Olympic Boulevard. But this is just the first of 11 to go up. This is a picture of Montebello Way and Greenwood, where it meets Greenwood, just north of Mines Avenue. Thank you to Councilmember Torres for bringing this to our attention. Just today, we did install temporary striping, lane striping, to improve the safety at this intersection so that drivers feel safer and know exactly where they need to go from Montebello north to Greenwood. We're also installing a temporary crosswalk, and the little area of dirt there on the left side of the roadway, we're working on that right now. There's been a delay on that side of the roadway because we had some utility conflicts, but fairly soon we'll be installing sidewalks there to make it safer for pedestrians. And then we'll also be talking to City Director of Public Works, Cesar Roldan, on some proposals that we have for the permanent lighting in that section. This is Montebello Way and Greenwood Avenue, just north of Mines.
Thank you.
This is a picture of Montebello Boulevard looking north. Councilmember Torres, this is the proposal that I mentioned in my email to you for what we intend to put down for the residents in that area during rainy weather, so that they're not needing to drive on wet dirt or muddy conditions. We're going to be installing these gravel pathways to assist residents in getting in and out of their driveways. And this is just a snapshot of the community outreach and business support that we've done. This is Maria Cano, who is our community liaison with the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. She's the one who actually does all this work. So our outreach has taken the form of construction alerts and Maria going to community events, Maria putting in advertisements in the local Montebello Reporter, giving business support with ongoing business support to the local businesses, as well as doing briefings with community organizations and city departments. And also, Maria fields a lot of the community inquiries with an average of about 5 to 10 per month. And Maria and her coworkers are also responsible for all of the social media presence that we have for the project. And that concludes my presentation, and I can take some questions.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just look down the aisle. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. And just to go quickly back on the previous presentation, extremely thankful for all the allocation of funding and resources to our city. We don't take that for granted. And we know that there's been a lot of support here, so we're extremely appreciative of the COG. Just going with this presentation, my only question, I know that you mentioned that there was a little bit of a delay, I think, with some of the utilities, or overall for the whole project, is there any, has the timeline been delayed on any new timelines, or can you just see if there's, yeah.
Sure, I can give you, I guess, a general overview of the project timeline. We experienced some delays in obtaining approvals from the Union Pacific Railroad Company for the Greenwood, Maple, and Vale crossings, and that those are critical to the project, even though they're not part of the grade separation itself. But very thankful that we finally got those necessary approvals from Union Pacific Railroad, I want to say 10 days ago. And very thankful to City Manager Raul Alvarez and Cesar Roldan for helping us. And I believe that will be coming to your council here pretty soon for approving those construction and maintenance agreements that we needed, that we've been waiting for. So in general, the project is about half a year delayed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have a quick.
Yes, Councilor Tamayo.
Thank you. On the previous presentation, appreciate you checking in with us and giving the community updates and touching on the big issues here in our city, like the transportation and housing, the wellness services, and the food distribution. On this presentation, I do have a question regarding the new water line that you mentioned. Is it going to require the water to be shut off for residents around that area at any point in time?
So far, no. The reason why we are installing that temporary water line, it's a temp water line crossing under the railroad tracks, is that so there would be no disruption to the water service when we go to disconnect the water lines south of the railroad tracks.
Okay, great. And then my last comment would be, if there's a way to include just, again, a contact information for any questions or any concerns as they come up, that would be great. Again, a contact number with a phone number or contact information would be appreciated. Thank you.
We do on our SGV COG website. We do have a number there. Maria, is there any other information you want to add on that?
And Carrie was, good evening, Mayor and council members. Maria Cano with San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. And Carrie's correct, there is in fact a link on our website overall, not just on the Montebello project. We highlight our existing and previous projects. So it's actually a very good resource. But I would defer to our ongoing outreach that we do within the communities, and to reassure you on, even if there were impacts, we have established with the city a protocol that we believe has been very effective as to how we notify businesses, residents, when there is to be an impact, and how we're minimizing those. So to reassure you, we're definitely making sure, because there may be some in the future that could have some impacts, but we have a protocol that we've established that certainly has helped us get through where we've gotten so far. But we will make sure that our notices, our overall notices have our context, but we'll make sure, at least for this body, that we'll also incorporate that along the way for our presentations.
Thank you.
Yeah, council member, I wanted to add in terms of, outreach and information and contact information. There's quite a bit of coordination that happens. There's weekly meetings that we have whenever there's a phase or any issues that happen. In addition to their noticing that they do on the ground, we also help out with our distribution via social media, on our website, email. So we do our best to provide that information so residents have that contact information. And in that, I did want to thank Carrie, Maria, and staff, because they've been extremely responsive to the needs of residents, council, staff. It's never perfect with a project of this scale with such a long timeline, but they are responsive. We try to address the issues and try to mitigate the impacts to residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Carrie, for joining and for the presentation here. Again, I just want to really impress, when you have a $220 million infrastructure project that's expected to take 4 years, you're really talking about a heavy lift. And this takes every facet of our staff and government to get this done. So I just really want to quickly thank all the staff at the COG that have helped facilitate these communications and solve some of the issues that I was going to mention in my orals, but I'll just mention them here as we have a great audience. I'd also like to thank my colleagues on the Capital Projects Committee, especially Tim Hepburn, our chair, who has been really an advocate alongside me for our residents, really understanding construction from his experience and really bringing in a lot of knowledge. And then also Supervisor Hilda Solis, who has really understood the impacts that we're facing, as she also sits on the Capital Projects Committee. And so I just want to thank everyone for being receptive. But to give people a sense of just the kind of work that's been done over the last 4 or 5 months, and the work that the staff at the COG has really addressed. It's been everything from potential property damages and making sure that people have claim forms to be able to report those kinds of damages. It's been lighting on both the north and the south side of the project. When we took out the street lights and those blocks were dark, sidewalks were dangerous, the COG hopped right on finding a solution that not only provided lighting in those areas, but trying to respect the peace of the neighborhood by installing solar lighting. And when we were having a little bit of difficulty looking at replacing those batteries and just making sure that residents had the safety and security on their blocks that they were looking for. Smoothing out the roads. When the project first started, we were dealing with some pretty significant lips between the concrete that was left in place and some of the dirt. When residents came forward talking about the damage that they were experiencing to their tires and their rims, finding a solution to get that done in a way that's both cost-effective and quick, something that we can maintain on a long-term basis as we go through this trenching, I thought was really fantastic. I appreciate the illustration on the gravel. I was wondering what that would look like in a way that's efficient. But when you talk about using dirt, it was actually Chair Hepburn that brought forward the idea, saying when it comes to rains that we might experience impacts here. And so it's just that conscientiousness and looking to the future to make sure that our residents are taken care of. The markings around sidewalk hazards, the increased frequency of water trucks as we dealt with complaints about airborne particles, as residents complained about striping on Greenwood and Montebello, being very responsive to that, and even down to individual residents that are seeing impacts at the end of their driveway. So I say all of this to, one, acknowledge the work that's being done on a day-by-day basis. Not everything ends up on social media, not everything ends up in a newsletter, but just be aware that I regularly visit the construction site, but I think more importantly is making sure that residents feel free and able to contact any one of your council members, our staff, or the COG to let them know about the impacts that you're experiencing, because this is a unique project when it comes to ACE projects. The density of residential and commercial businesses is a very unique mix when it comes to all of the underpasses that we've done. And as much as we can anticipate and try and figure out what impacts residents may see, even more effective is just reaching out, even if it's on a day-by-day basis. I want you guys to feel free about what you're experiencing so we can address it as best we can. So I just really want to thank you and thank all of our staff for just that constant, quick, responsive attention to our city.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Torres. Thank you so much, Carrie, for providing us these updates. And we'll go ahead and close out our presentations for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that now takes us to our public comments on non-agenda items. Mr. City Attorney, can you please read the statement of oral communications before receiving public comments on non-agenda items?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. At this time, this is the opportunity for the public to address the City Council on items that are not on the agenda. It would be a 30-minute period for these comments. And if anyone who wishes to address the City Council on non-agenda items wishes to present to the City Council, this would be appropriate for a card to have been turned in. And with that, I will inquire from the City Clerk. Do we have any speaker cards on non-agenda items?
Yes, we do.
Okay, can we please proceed? Thank you.
First speaker is Joella Valdez, followed by Will Severa.
Good evening. It's only been a week since the election, yet once again, campaign donors are prioritized over residents. How can this council justify approving item 11 or anything related to the golf course after both Councilmember Scarlett and David received campaign contributions from the vendor operating the golf course? This raises serious questions about ethics, legality, and appropriateness. On tonight's agenda, it also includes item 14, serving another campaign donor's interest, infrastructure engineers. And despite warnings from the state auditor and the assistant city manager, this council approved a contract with this company who has a history of FBI investigations for bribery in Maywood and explicit flags in the state audit. Caltrans even refuses to let us pay them with their funds and has forced a $400,000 repayment in the past. Why are we still working with them? Nevertheless, on September 11th, David voted yes, and 6 days later, infrastructure engineers contributed $5,750 to a PAC named Neighbors for Better Leadership. And just 2 days after that, that PAC cut a check in support of David for $4,500. This is just one example of their pay-to-pay politics, and it has to end. Using PACs to bypass campaign finance laws is unacceptable. Scarlett, in your LACDP interview, you spoke about the ordinance that limit campaign donations from vendors doing business with the city, yet you both have been using PACs to funnel large contributions through the Neighbors for Better Leadership PAC. Should we start calling you 10K Scarlett and 5K David? This election cycle, you all collectively spent almost $200,000 in campaign contributions this season while residents are struggling. Families are behind on utility bills. You could have helped 500 families catch up on utility bills instead of spending that. David, you spent over $33,000 on this election, and you still barely hold your position, with nearly half of the district dissatisfied with your leadership. Now let's talk about electioneering, because I saw that on your council orals today. I didn't have to electioneer because I already won, because the issues that are infecting District 4 has been brought to the forefront. As we see now, we're going to get striping on Greenwood. When you made a meme making fun of me bringing that issue to the forefront, obviously it was relevant because things are happening. Thank you, City Manager Raul. Please keep in contact with the district to make sure that our voices are being heard, so you know how this project is impacting people that actually live and walk and drive and bicycle in this neighborhood. But let's talk about electioneering, because you have a very slim margin for all the electioneering that you did that I didn't have to do. I had no money. And instead of crying on social media about my stolen signs that we found 2 doors down from your father's house with the house that had your sign, we found stolen signs at that house, and I made a video. I never talked about it. Instead, I kept walking. Keep my name out of your mouth as a private citizen, and the best way you could do that is by doing the job in the district, and you won't have to worry about me. Do your job, and I wouldn't have had to run in the first place.
Ms. Valdez, thank you. Can we get
Next speaker is Will Severa, followed by Roberto Blanco.
Madam Mayor, just a quick point of order. I didn't want to interrupt the resident there and be perceived as disrespecting her time, but if we can please ask that commenters keep their public comments to public comments and reserve any comments on agenda items to those agenda items, as is our normal procedure.
Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Silvera.
Thank you for allowing me to talk. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing because these meetings take a little too long and I have things to go do. And I'm going to thank Mr. Raul Alvarez for painting and removing some red striping on Beverly Boulevard between Wilbur and Beverly. It greatly helped our area for additional parking because in our cul-de-sac area, it's extremely hard to get any parking. I also want to thank the ACE project for being able to paint those lines because there was people that were complaining about that area and saying it was not an open zone. So obviously, if it's getting fixed, it's an open zone for public to pass through. So the meme definitely is an issue and it shouldn't have been done. And you know, we're in politics, it shouldn't be always a laughing matter, especially for you guys, right? I do believe that what Ms. Joella Valdez brought up about the Bowman Company, I did see that and we did have issues with it. You know, when you guys were actually running, when I was supporting David Torres and Scarlett Peralta, even when Mr. Melendez was first elected, we were telling them as residents, we do not want infrastructure engineers in our town. They lobby too much. We want a lot of these lobbyists out of our town because you guys need to be listening to the residents and not donors. You know, considering you spent $33,000 and she spent $6,000 and you only got, what, 236 votes? Kind of shows you that you don't have to spend money to get it. You guys didn't have the money when you first got elected, and I'm trying to tell you guys again, when you guys rerun for election, you need to walk and you need to talk to your constituents. One of the biggest problems is you guys say people do not get engaged. Why would we get engaged when you don't listen to us? You guys already have a plan in place. We go to these meetings, you don't listen. There's not one resident that I remember ever coming up here to ever say that they want Topgolf or infrastructure engineers, but you have residents telling you they do not want them. So you guys are gonna vote. I don't understand how you're gonna say carve out these projects for IE. If we're having to carve out anything to hire and give a contract, that should already be a red flag. We have a bad history. You guys wanna change it. Let's start by changing it by using companies that are actually qualified and we don't have to carve out and make special exemptions for them. We did have actual engineers hired in the city. We do not currently have any, from my understanding. That should be a priority. Anybody getting into these positions that should be an engineer needs to be an engineer so we can stop spending over $200,000. I mean, it's pretty nice. $5,700 to get a $2 million contract. That's pretty nice. Maybe I should just go donate next time for a campaign so I could get a $2 million contract as well. You know, the other one is for Quiet Canyon. I mean, you guys are going always over budget. It goes in phases, and you guys don't listen to anybody. The rest of the district on Los Angeles, you need speed bumps and stop signs. On South Side, you have a lot of vacancies. You know, there's other parts of this community that needs to be developed. Thank you.
Next speaker
Thank you, Mr.
is
Severa. Oh, go ahead with next speaker.
Roberto Blanco, followed by Rosa Tamayo.
Hi, I'm here, resident, been here for 8 years or so. I went to the planning department yesterday to submit a possibility for subdividing my lot under the SB 9 rules that were passed in 2022. And they said that in the planning department, they are not accepting SB 9 applications because they haven't received any instructions on how to proceed with those. Which, you know, SB 9 is something that was passed in 2021 and is in effect in 2022. It's been happening throughout Whittier, throughout Los Angeles. The architect that I was working with was shocked that you guys weren't accepting SB 9 applications. So, you know, I'm here to ask that you guys provide the planning department with instructions on how to accept SB 9 applications, because SB 9 will allow homeowners here in the city of Montebello to subdivide their lot and possibly sell, you know, maybe the back house that they have, or maybe build more units to provide more housing here in the city of Montebello. And if they sell part of their lot, you're just going to get more property taxes, so it's only going to benefit the city of Montebello. So I'm just here asking you guys to provide the planning department with instructions on how to, to accept SB9 applications. I'd like to proceed with it.
Does that conclude your comment?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay, so I did receive your inquiry. It's been flagged to our city manager, so we will be responding.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Rosa Tamayo, followed by Marissa Castro Salvari.
Mayor Scarlett Peralta, en
Mayor.
miembro del concilio. Soy Rosa Tamayo.
Mayor Scarlett Peralta, I'm Rosa Tamayo.
Felicidades, Mayor Scarlett and David Torres.
Congratulations,
ganaron
Mayor Scarlett and Torres, because you
su
won
campaña.
the campaign.
Y por favor, trabajen con ética profesional
Please work with professionalism and ethics.
que les hace falta, por favor.
It is needed, please.
Y por honor, amor y valor, Angie Jiménez, Joela Valdés y Jack hicieron una estrategia
Angie Jiménez, Joela Valdez, and Jack carried out a strategy
para que se quedaran ustedes en sus sillas,
in order for you to remain in your seats,
porque ellos no quieren ser parte de su tradición.
because they don't want to be part of your tradition.
Así lo analicé yo.
That's how I analyzed it.
También quiero decirles que necesitan urgentemente viviendas accesibles.
I also want to add that you need urgently and housing. You need affordable, accessible housing.
No dije que afordable, dije accesibles.
Accessible.
¿Ok? Porque los afordables son muy caros ahorita, están
Right.
en $2,600.
Yeah, the affordable ones are very high.
El afordable es muy
It's
caro,
2,600.
no está
So
accesible.
The affordable ones is very expensive and it wouldn't be accessible.
Vista JJ Rodríguez, el afordable vivienda está muy caro.
Yeah, affordable is very expensive.
Yo por eso investigué cuánto costaba.
That's why I on my own investigated and how much
Un
it was.
bedroom, 2,600.
So one bedroom was 2,600.
Y eso está por investigar, por una investigación para los derechos civiles.
And that's civil
La vivienda.
records about housing is something that will be investigated.
Esta administración vende los servicios municipales
This administration sells public services,
pero ustedes gastan el dinero de los contribuyentes en demandas.
however you spend government
Y eso no está bien.
Government voters in lawsuits.
Y acuérdense muy bien, ustedes los códigos de sus votantes los quebraron y eso hay una consecuencia.
Remember that the codes from the voters have been broken, and there is a consequence for that.
Y si no lo entienden, se lo voy a poner el ejemplo muy claro. En un matrimonio hay un código entre dos.
And if you don't understand, let me give you an example.
Y si
In a
uno lo
marriage,
quiebra, hay problemas.
In a marriage, there's a code, and if one
Así
violates
que
one,
entre un votante y ustedes tienen un problema.
so likewise,
Porque lo quebraron
between a
el
voter,
código.
between a voter and you, there is also a violation of a code.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tamayo. Next speaker?
Next speaker is Marissa Castro Salvari, followed by Ana Jurado.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff, and audience. Marissa Castro-Salvati. I am your Government Relations Manager for Southern California Edison. My predecessor, who used to cover this area, we had to reorganize our staffing, and so on the interim, I'll be covering the City of Montebello. I actually had City of Montebello about 2015. I left. I've covered this area for the last 15 years. Looking around the room, the only person I think I see that I am familiar with is Arnold. He was here when I was doing this from 2000 to 2015. I see some of the other faces that I've covered in other cities, like our Public Works Director here. I just wanted to make sure I introduce myself to you. I know I had met Councilman Torres a couple of times in some events, and hopefully get a chance to meet all of you and have a relationship in terms of how we work together with Southern California Edison. I look forward to working with the city manager and other staff members and looking forward for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Castro-Salvati.
Next speaker is Ana Jurado, followed by Tila Gregorian.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Ana Jurado, and first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for the celebration of our veterans on Monday. It was terrific. Thank you. I appreciate it. They deserve that. They deserve most of anything. I appreciate that you allowed the veterans to come up and speak. That was done a few years ago. Family members would come in with pictures of their sons, their daughters, and their husbands, and they would speak. You know, that's very important to a person, a man, woman who served our country. And I thank you because it was just, the protocol was there, everything was great. I really thank you for all the respect you showed our veterans. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.
And our final speaker is Tila Gregorian.
Good evening, council members, staff, and residents of Montebello. My name is Tila Gregorian, and I've lived in Montebello for most of my life. And I don't give the years anymore, because then you can figure out how old I am. But I would like to address my concerns with our city. It seems to me that in the last few years, we've had a lot of unnecessary ugliness happen in our city. And I remember Arlene that was let go. Didn't even have the courtesy to talk to her in a conference room. She got a telephone call and you told her not to come back to work. She had been in our city for so long, was the person to go to. Any questions you had, she had the answers for you. And if she didn't, she would find them out, find the answers for you. My other concern is with Paul Espinosa, our police chief. He came to us from Los Angeles with a lot of experience and knowledge. But our city council thinks that they know more than he does about his position. We also had our assistant city manager, that was Arlene that I was talking about. That was the person to go to with any information you needed. She had the answers for you, and if she didn't, she'd find them. Who do you go to now? I would like to know, because there are questions I would like to come and talk to someone in the city. Perhaps they can answer it, but I don't know who to go to, because I don't know any of you know enough to really answer my questions about my concerns with our city. So I am, and then again, yes, Angie Jimenez. Someone didn't like her, so they put a recall on her. I mean, we have got to stop this pettiness in our city. There's a lot of it going on, and it's really not necessary. We've had very, very good staff here, and we've had council members before that this kind of stuff didn't, to use better words, because you know what I want to say, all of this stuff did not go on before. So it's like our city is just completely out of control. And I'm really concerned about it because I love my city. I've lived here most of my life, and my children were born here, raised here. So that's my message, that it's 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Ms.
thank you very
Gregorian.
much, and please consider the employees.
Thank you, Ms. Gregorian. And that concludes our public comments for this evening. So we are now going to be moving, staff communications on items of community interest. Mr. City Manager?
Yes, Mayor, council members, I have a couple of items. I wanted to thank our police department for the responsiveness and their proactive measures during the Dodgers World Series celebrations. While we were very happy that the Dodgers won, there was concerns in terms of the impacts to our city. I can tell you that the police department developed a very thorough mitigation plan, appropriated the necessary staff. They were working late into the hours, and if you were here in our city, it was actually pretty quiet. Can't speak to our neighboring communities, but in terms of Montebello, there wasn't any issues associated with that, and that's all thanks to our police department. Also wanted to thank our fire department. As many of you have seen the news, there's some recent fires, and whenever there's a fire, our fire department is providing mutual aid and assistance. So I do thank them for their service and assisting other communities as they're going through tough times. I also wanted to kick it off to pass it on to our Director of Parks and Rec to talk about a very important event that we have coming up in the city.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, members of the public. I just want to invite the public out to one of our large-scale community events taking place on Saturday, December 7th, right here at Montebello City Hall from 3 to 9 p.m. It's the annual Winter Wonderland and tree lighting ceremony. So lots of activities for families, including live music, food, entertainment activities, a Santa's Village workshop area, pictures with Santa, all for free. Obviously, the food and different crafts that you could buy are a cost there. With the tree being lit with the special guest with Santa Claus at 7 p.m. So once again, that's Saturday, December 7th at Montebello City Hall here from 3 to 9 p.m. with the tree lighting ceremony taking place at 7 p.m. So all the community is invited to that. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing else, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Director Sosnowski and your team for that big lift as well. And that now takes us to our consent calendar. Mr. City Attorney, can you please read the statement of approval on consent items and allow council to pull any items of interest?
Yes, at this time, Madam Mayor, it's the consent agenda, which includes items number 11 through, there's a lot, 11 through 32. And I'll go in order of tonight's goal, starting with Council Member Jimenez.
Councilmember Jimenez, you could go ahead and announce the items you want to pull.
14, 18, 19, and 20, please.
Which can you repeat that, Kimberly?
14, 18, 19, and 20.
14, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you. Let's move then to Councilmember Tamayo.
No items.
Councilmember Torres.
Items 14, which ones have been called so far? Which items have been called so far?
14, 18, 19, 20.
14, 18, 19, and 20 have been pulled by Councilmember Jimenez.
I'd like to pull 14 and 25.
25. Okay, and then Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
No items.
And Mayor Peralta.
None. And for public comments,
Do we have any public comment cards?
Yes, we do have one for agenda item number 19, which was already pulled by Councilmember Jimenez.
okay. So we will go ahead and start with item number 14.
Should we go ahead and approve the balance of the agenda then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, it would be appropriate to entertain a motion to approve items 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, and items 26 through 32.
Can I get a motion to approve the items as read into the record?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Can I please get a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Tamayo. Can I please get roll call, Mr. City Clerk?
Councilmember Jimenez,
Yes.
Councilmember Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. And we will go ahead and now move forward to item number 14, award on-call bench list architectural and engineer professional services agreement. It was pulled by Councilmember Jimenez and Councilmember Torres.
Correct.
Okay. Who's Councilmember Jimenez?
Councilmember Jimenez, you could go ahead and speak on item number 14.
Okay. Well, again, a couple of people spoke on this earlier. I just don't understand again why we're seeing this this company again, Bowman and IE, when this is just really irresponsible. And I'm going to say whoever allowed this to get on the agenda again. When we know that this company was highlighted again in our audit for just being bad actors, and their history in all of the cities throughout the Southeast just goes back to, I'm not sure, as far as I could find in any articles in the LA Times when they used to be AAE. Infrastructure engineering should not be, and we should not be supporting, and this should not be on our agenda. It's irresponsible, Mr. City Manager, and to the council that allowed this to go on. I'm not even going to request to make an amendment so that we could approve some of the items on here because, again, we have TransTech, and we know that infrastructure engineering engineers was not, last year, we know that they did not perform well. And for you guys to continue pushing this company, it's just extremely irresponsible and just egregious. So I am not okay with approving this item as it is. It's really interesting how this was all just bundled up. And for the amount of $2 million, if people could reference back to a California audit back in 2011, this same company that we are now awarding, or that you're asking to award $2 million for this, is in the same amount back then. So this is just, again, irresponsible. And I cannot imagine anyone on the council being okay with approving this item tonight. So I'm going to say I'm not going to, I can't support this.
Thank you, Councilmember Jimenez. Councilmember Torres, you pulled the item as well. Would you like to go ahead and discuss?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just really quickly, this is why it's important to hear public comments at the same time as the item, not at the beginning of public comment. The comments from some members of the public who have now left from the start of the meeting are separated from this discussion. But those individuals and some of the comments that we just heard can be forgiven for their misunderstanding around the item and particulars of contracts. As issues, just really quickly as to issues surrounding infrastructure engineers, they're not the company that's included here. And I think some of the things that they're mentioning and trying to allude to doesn't acknowledge, and they're very likely unaware that there was a threat of litigation that we faced from the company. And it was really a collaboration between the former acting city manager, city staff and the council to reinstate them at that time in a limited fashion that avoided litigation while also delivering on the needs of the city. And so that's a story that hasn't been told and I think should be, is that this was a collaboration across all of us. This is not something that council pressured or directed. Further, infrastructure architects and Bowman are companies that are distinct from infrastructure engineers, and I just want to impress on the public that us here on the dais are responsible for these kinds of details, details that matter, and it seems that some of the commenters against the item missed this, and that concludes my comments.
Okay. So I will go ahead and ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I'll go ahead and ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. City Clerk, can I please get roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez,
No.
Councilmember Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. And then that now takes us to item number 18. Yes. Give me one moment here. Okay. Approve award of professional services agreement number 4245 to Verde Facilities Services to provide citywide custodial services. And I believe this was pulled by Councilmember Jimenez. If she can go ahead and speak on the item.
Councilmember Jimenez, you could go ahead and speak on item number 18.
Okay, I'm just not gonna support this item. That's it.
Okay, so can I please get a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so motion by Councilmember Torres, second by Mayor Pro Tem Melendez. Can I please get roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez,
No.
Councilmember Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. So that now takes us to item number 19, reject bids received for the fire station number 56 renovation project in accordance with public contract code section that is mentioned in the agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
a quick correction. I got a little confused, as you might have seen. I was taking my time with the items. I did want to pull item number 15 as well.
Oh, item number 15? Okay. Item number 15.
Approved.
Do we need to do anything
Right
procedurally?
now, then on, why don't we finish up with 19?
Okay.
Come back.
Okay. Item 19, pulled by Councilmember Jimenez.
I'm sorry, we're on item number 19.
Yes, we'll go back to, okay,
We'll come
15.
back.
Okay.
That is pulled by Councilmember Jimenez.
Go ahead, Councilmember Jimenez, item number 19.
I just wanted clarification on this item from the city manager for the rejection of these bids. Since I didn't.
Just clarification on the item. I mean, we're rejecting the bids because they're over budget.
Okay. So can I please get a motion to approve item number 15?
Mayor.
Sorry.
I apologize. We do have a speaker card for this item.
Oh, okay. Let's move
Yes.
forward with the speaker card.
We have Zane Bamani. Apologize for.
No problem. Hello, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Mayor Pro Temp, Honorable City Council members and staff. Speaking to you today on item number 19, the Fire Station 56 renovation project, number CP 923. We are requesting waiver from HUD document and at bid submission, as it will be a part of the contract, and also requesting acceptance of our bid proposal for the fire station project. Staff has evaluated the bid by Ambit Construction and Design to be the lowest bidder on the Fire Station 56, and the bid proposal in all other respects to be responsive with the exception of the HUD document, which was not submitted with the bid, which subsequently has been. It is requested that the Honorable City Council waive the requirement And if necessary, we request to seek the city attorney's office determination that the failure to include the HUD form in the submitted bid proposal did not materially affect the bid process, as it is part of the contract when awarded. The Ambit Construction's bid was below the engineer's estimate and the budget for this project. The only reason that it is in front of you to reject the bid is because of this HUD document that was lost in the bid package. It is requested that the City Council waive the requirement to submit the bid form with the bid proposal as it is a non-material irregulatory, accept the HUD form that has already been submitted, and award the contract to Ambit. We had faced a similar issue with another agency where the city attorney determined that the document did not have any material effect on the bidding process. We were then awarded the project and have successfully completed it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. If there are any discussion or any questions or comments from my colleagues, I will go ahead and move forward with a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the item.
Okay, we have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Mr. City Clerk, can I please get roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez.
No.
Councilmember Tamayo.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. So that now takes us back to item number 15. Give me a second here. Approve resolution, East Side Transit Corridor Phase 2 project, cooperative agreement with the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Councilmember Torres?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the consideration here. I just have some quick comments. While I was initially in favor of this project and still see the value in it, some of the more recent developments give me great cause for pause and concern. Montebello is a major partner in making sure this project is successful. As the terminus, we have to prepare for the impacts that come with the end-of-line station on Greenwood and Washington. We'll have to deal with increased impacts to traffic in a zone that's mixed with heavy industrial, commercial, and residential uses. And what's more, the supporting facilities are not fully understood or accounted for, nor are they taken into account for future contributions, which is the next conversation we can expect over the next couple years. This agreement does stand apart from those issues. However, I believe that the issues I listed need to be addressed at a greater level of satisfaction, even at these early stages in the process. There's a great value in public transportation, easier connectivity in the region, and reducing our impact on roads and the global climate through reducing our dependence on cars. It is our job on this council, however, to make sure our city doesn't carry the weight of the region on our coffers and that we're respected as perhaps the most significant partner in Phase 2, considering our many contributions to the project. And that concludes my comments.
Okay. Since we already approved the item, do we need to call for another vote? Mr. City Attorney? Oh, since we already approved item number 15, do we need to? Were you seeking to change?
I would like to change my vote to a nay on the item.
Okay. So he's seeking to change his vote. Yes. So we'll go ahead and redo roll call for this item. Is that procedurally how we would go about it? Okay.
Well, no.
We should.
All you need to do is, if the council concurs, that the Councilmember Torres will change his vote from aye to
nay.
Nay.
Okay.
And that will be in the record. And in as much as came up prior to the closure of tonight's meeting, that is acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you.
So then that now takes us to item number 19. Oh, 20. Item number 20, award construction contract to Estate Design and Construction for Dog Park at Acuña Park. And it was pulled by Councilmember Jimenez.
Councilmember Jimenez, you can go ahead and speak on item number 20.
I just won't be supporting this item, that's it.
Okay, we will go ahead and call for a motion.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I just would like to make the quick comment.
Yes.
That last meeting, this council did vote to amend the budget to include the dog park, which Ms. Jimenez voted in favor of. So her declination to approve the project here seems kind of contrary to her previous vote.
Okay, can I please get a motion to approve item number 20?
Motion?
Okay, motion by Councilmember Torres. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Tamayo. Can I please get roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez?
No.
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. And that now takes us to, I believe, the last item that was pulled, which is item number 25, award professional services agreement for on-call building plan check, building inspection, and planning consulting services for TransTech engineers. Go ahead, Councilmember Torres.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to give staff the opportunity to talk about some of the benefits that will be seen from this new contract. Thank you, TransTech, for attending today and being present for the conversation.
Mr. Palami?
Yes, thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. So the, as noted in the staff report, the cost associated with the proposed professional services agreement before you tonight will be recovered from a portion of the fees charged for building plan check services. This is different from the fee structure that was negotiated previously, where we were sort of using previous years to budget certain amounts. So the fees associated and the percentages have been reduced significantly. For example, there's a sliding scale, as noted, where monthly fees for building plan check services for 60% of fees collected for projects valued. And the valuation, when you apply for a building permit, just to give you some background, there's a requirement to disclose the valuation of the project, which is how we calculate the plan check fees for each project. So, for example, projects valued between 0 to 250,000 will be 60%. 57% for projects valued between $250,001 to up to $400,000, and then 52% for projects valued over $400,000. That is a 28%, approximately 28% decrease from our current percentage, which is again significant. In addition to that, we have the ability for staff augmentation services, which are intended to provide flexibility to adjust staffing as needed to respond to project demands within the Building and Safety and Planning Division. For example, we are currently preparing to process a substantial amount of building permits for Phase 2 of the Metro Heights project, which includes 851 additional residential units. This obviously will require temporary augmentation in staffing to supplement the demand, and it will be, again, on a temporary basis. So it is important to note, again, that the proposed structure for the plan check fee services before you tonight translates to a net reduction of 28%. In addition to that, all building plan check fees related to city projects will be waived, which is something that we did not have under the previous contract. So, for example, when we move forward with city-related projects, all plan check fees for those projects will be waived. Again, this will result in a significant cost savings to the city. With regards to the general fund, there will be no impact because we did anticipate funding which was approved under our budget for fiscal year 24-25. Therefore, we do not have any impacts to the general fund. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Palumbi. Councilmember Torres?
Yeah, and just want to thank staff and TransTech for the partnership in bringing this forward and ultimately seeing a benefit for our community. And with that, I'd like to motion to approve the item.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Torres. Can I please get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Melendez. Can I please get roll call?
Councilmember Jimenez?
No questions.
I'm sorry, your vote on item number 25?
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. And that concludes the items on consent calendar. I will go ahead and Move forward with AB 1234 travel reports. Just looking across the aisle here, we have none. And that takes us now to our council orals with Councilmember Torres having a few. Go ahead, Councilmember Torres.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For my first oral, Election Day observations, electioneering by Joella Valdez and others. First, starting off on a positive note, I'd like to congratulate and thank the residents for one of the best turnouts in our election history. Currently, voter participation stands at over 50%. So really want to commend the electorate of District 4 for showing out. I did feel that it was important this evening, given current political climates and concerns around voting, that talk about some of the things that we saw in our city on Tuesday. One of the things, and this has happened for the last couple elections that I've been a part of, and not sure how far it goes back, but there is a recurring pattern of voter intimidation and influence at the polls. There are certain lobbyists, campaign managers, and a certain political camp who year after year use the same underhanded tactics to influence voters at the polls as they're standing in line to vote instead of doing the honest work of outreach and contact. And not only is it just underhanded and unseemly, but operating within 100 feet of voter lines and locations, which we saw this last election, is illegal. From the Secretary of State website, on notices regarding prohibition of electioneering and corruption of the voting process, I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding on the definition of electioneering earlier. But as a reminder for us all and to talk about some of the things that we saw, you are not to ask a person to vote for or against any candidate or ballot measure at the polls. You're not to display a candidate's name, image, or logo. There was a candidate that was wearing their T-shirt at the polls, walking around and talking to voters. You're not supposed to provide any material or audible information for or against any candidate or ballot measure near any polling place, vote center, or ballot drop box. There was a vehicle that was lighted that was driving in close proximity to some of the buildings and places where people were voting. And lastly, again, on displays, you're not supposed to distribute, display, or wear any clothing, hats, shirts, signs, buttons, or stickers that include a candidate's name, image, logo, and or support or oppose any candidate or ballot measure. I'd also just like to lift up the complaint on behalf of some of the residents in South Montebello of complaints of unequal treatment by law enforcement, whose appearance unfortunately was made worse by the police union's endorsement of the anti-recall movement, despite the fact that 40% of residents signed the recall papers to move the process forward. This is something just to the attention of our police department, just in terms of training and making sure that that we give every appearance of fairness across the board. We definitely appreciate the work that you do and want to make sure that you continue to shine in a really great light by avoiding some of these pitfalls and unfortunate mishaps every now and again. And just the last thing, I think particularly on Tuesday, but just going forward, we do have another election in a couple of years that we're going to have to face. But I think it is extremely important that our election officials are available to receive comments and complaints and act quickly on them. It's an extremely special day in our democracy. Even with California's ability to vote 30 days in advance by mail, several days in advance in person, that Tuesday is a day where we see the most activity. And I think it's extremely important that we give that kind of confidence to our community that we are there to ensure the integrity of our elections and avoid some of the things that I mentioned this evening. Moving on to my second oral, meeting with Congresswoman Linda Sanchez, the San Gabriel Valley COG, Ray Broguier, regarding Union Pacific Railroad and other efforts to address stopped trains. I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update to the community. District 4 has seen immense impacts from increases in the worldwide chain of logistics. We now enjoy Prime one-day delivery. You can get everything from a set of razors to motorcycle within one day, but with that comes increased shipping, and Montebello being right next to that major hub at commerce is seeing a really great impact on our roads, specifically on Vail, Maple, and Greenwood. I started working on this issue last year, just trying to find someone to get in contact with. Over the last several months, I've been able to partner with City Manager Raul Alvarez and several others in the city to just really lift up this issue and just wanted to report out to the community some of the things that we're doing. There has been recognized that there's an impact to local businesses, to the traffic, and to the students at ATC High School. Just a short list of some of the steps that we're taking to try and address this include online reporting to Union Pacific to make sure that we get that backup documentation to show them how extensive this problem is. When I first called them earlier this summer or late spring, it was reported when they looked at their records that they didn't have any complaints for the last couple of years, which I knew to be false because Mr. Brogier makes sure on a regular basis to let us know of the impacts that he's facing there. So I think creating that documentation was really important. Also, just looking into joining legal action against Union Pacific. There was a member of the council that has seen impacts in the El Sereno area and was looking into the ways that any kind of legal action could prevent them from experiencing the same kinds of things that we're experiencing, and then we're looking into seeing what that kind of litigation looks like. The San Gabriel Valley COG with the ACE project have been really great partners in reporting issues and making sure that we get that documentation. And everything from talking to Congresswoman Linda Sanchez, who I just want to thank for taking time to come down to Montebello, talking with Mr. Brogier, the San Gabriel Valley COG, and myself about what steps we can take to try and increase communications and understand what's going on. Appreciate her time. And then lastly, like I said, this great extent, even to going to train enthusiasts who have remote cameras just to try and get that real video feedback on what's going on. Lastly, I just do want to say that rail companies are juggernauts. This is a David and Goliath situation, but I want to assure the residents of District 4 in the city that we are pursuing every avenue to reduce the impacts of traffic and safety on the community as they arise from these trains. I made my comments on updates on the Montebello Underpass project, so I won't repeat those here. But lastly, I did want to update the community and actually ask that we close in memory of our former city administrator, Joe Gaydon. When I submitted my orals at the time, we knew that he was in poor health, but unfortunately he did pass on Sunday. Former city administrator Joe Gaydon passed away on November 10th. He worked for the city for approximately 20 years, his last 10 as city administrator, moving to the city of West Sacramento as its city administrator in 1989. Joe's been remembered by former employees as an extremely fair and thoughtful leader who held the tenets of public service as the highest priority in dealings with the residents of Montebello. Among projects completed during Joe's tenure was the Montebello Town Center, now known as the Shops at Montebello. Joe is also an active member of the Rotary Club of Montebello, serving as its president. He's survived by his wife, Nola, and 2 children, Katie and John, and 2 grandchildren. So that concludes my orals, and if we can close this evening's meeting in the memory of former city administrator Joe Gaydon.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a moment of silence. Thank you very much, Councilmember Torres. We will go ahead and adjourn our meeting today at 8:34. If I can just please get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And we will go ahead and adjourn to the next regular meeting on December 11th at 6 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your evening and happy Thanksgiving.